Okay, hi guys. If you hear any background noise, shoo, Jojo. That's my sister, hold on. If you hear any background noise, it's because I'm recording this in my room, and you guys don't know how many apps I had to go through to find 2 apps that would let me edit this video. It was actually physically paining my soul. I almost gave up, but I did not, because I promised you guys, because I'm a good child. The things I'm painting in this video, those are all my original characters that I've had for like a year and a half now, maybe. Some of them are older, but yeah. Yeah. I had a brain fart. I had to think of all their names again. Hold on. Okay. So there's Abel, Scarlet, Dahlia, Hunter, Salvio, Charlotte, Annika, and Scary Bear. That's all of them. That's all my child's names. Okay, so anyways, I've got an hour and 4 minutes to rant about 7th grade. So I hope you can take in all this tea, because there's a lot. Wait, hold on, I don't have my glasses. Joy, can you give me my glasses from up there? You can't, I believe you. Come on, give me my glasses. Give them to me, Jojo. Alright, I can read now. This is going to be like a story time, also reading you a book time, because this, I wrote all this down, and it's gone on since, yeah, I've been writing in this diary for a long time. But anywho, let's get to the good stuff. Okay, so the first entry, I was saying, so last Friday was the first day of school. Hold on. But yeah, alright, let's get into this. So I was in the first entry, July 30th, 2018, of 7th grade. I was like, oh, last Friday was the first day of school, and I was, alright, so this is when I met, what are we going to call this child that is one of my best friends now? Hold on a second. I gotta write this all down so I don't slip up because of privacy reasons. Ugh. Okay, her name will be Bubbles for this. Okay, so I'm talking about how, this was the day I met Eliza, the first day, and it was because she invited me to come sit with her at the table because, it was lunchtime. I was lonely. I didn't know anybody. Everybody else knew each other because they probably knew each other from 6th grade. And she invited me over. I don't think she remembers it right because we were talking about it the other day. And she was like, you just sat down. And I was like, well, okay, hello. But I remember her waving at me and asking me to come sit by her. So I did. And I'm also talking about how one of the first things she asks me was if I had an email. So I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. So I thought that was kind of suspicious, but turns out it wasn't. I also found out that day from a bunch of other people I had met, from more than one person, that she spread a lot of rumors in 6th grade. So I was like, oh crap. And because one of the first things she asked me was do you have a phone number? I was like, oh no, because somebody also told me that she used to be some sort of stalker. So I was like, well, crap. Okay, the next day I wrote about how I got in trouble because I didn't do my homework once, and my math teacher made me contact my mother, but I got out of it because I didn't know how to use emails on a desktop So, yeah. Whew, okay, so I had a boyfriend in 6th grade that we'll call them Gremlin. Oh my goodness, I cannot speak. We'll just call them Gremlin. I don't really have a reason. I just can't come up with a lot of nicknames very well. So I was freaking out about how he wasn't calling me and how much I missed him because I moved. Oh my goodness, I just dropped my phone. I was freaking out about how he said he would call me and he didn't. And I was just like, oh no, because I had moved away to a different school, so we weren't going to the same school anymore. So I was being kind of clingy, but you know, it was 6th grade. Okay, this next part is a little heavy. It was like a huge misunderstanding. She's consented to me saying all this if I use a fake name, so I am. So this next part is about Bubbles. Okay, so this was the day where I was like, this whole misunderstanding about how I thought Bubbles lied about everything. This is where it started. Yeah. So in the book, I was like, oh, you know that first friend that I ever made in this school, Bubbles. Well, she lies about everything, and this is why I thought that. Okay, so she had told me as a friend that she had been, how do I say this without getting, like, demonetized? That she had been sexually assaulted when she was, like, 12. And I didn't believe her because I was a complete craphead. Just because I don't think she told, like, the story how she remembered it right. And I thought it was complete bullcrap, even though later, well, no spoilers yet. Okay, spoilers. Later I found out that she actually was, sexually assaulted, or however I'm supposed to say that, and I felt so bad, because I was so rude to think that somebody would lie about that actually didn't. So I've been more careful about that lately and actually listening to people and not trying to take every little bit apart. Because if you think too much into something, you'll probably most likely get it wrong. And that is the mother freaking tea, sis. Okay, so this entry was me, like, just doing basically a whole rundown of all of my friends' sexualities. Okay, so I'm also giving them fake names for privacy reasons as well. Okay, so this is like, alright, I give them all fake names, so here we go. For Spaghetti, I was just, yeah, okay, hold on. What did I even write? Alright, so I was writing about how I was like super confused if she was either bisexual or lesbian. And now I know that she's bisexual, but you know, I didn't know her that well back then. And then I was describing her looks and how she can be kind of sad sometimes, but she, before everything happened, laughs a lot around like me and Caitlin. Okay, for Skittles, I was like, I'm pretty sure she's bisexual. Wow, bisexual, but I'm not sure. And then I was describing what she looks like and that she was taller than me and that she always sounds like she's high. Well, wow. Skittles, I'm sorry, I did not remember that I wrote that. And then for Sarah, I was like, I think she's bi. Never mind. She is a pretty awkward person, but she's fun to be around. And then I was like, she's the same height as me. That was about it. And then for Candy, I was like, she's so straight, which I later learned she is not. And then I was like describing that she was very sweet and talkative and that she wears glasses. And then I was like, oh, I'm getting glasses soon. That was a long time ago, and I didn't get them until 3 months later. No, not even 3, like 5. Oof, that's a long time. Okay, and then this next part, hold on. It's about Bubbles. I gotta summarize this. Okay, so I wrote that I don't count Bubbles as a friend anymore because she was, in my eyes at the time, a huge liver. I cannot speak. I thought she was a huge liar at the time, and that I had heard that she had some fake rumors for, like, everyone. Yeah, and she was the only one, apparently, the only one saying them. So at the time, I thought that was kind of fishy, so I was like, I don't even want to be friends with this girl anymore. She made up this, like, these two ridiculous things, these two ridiculous stories that I've written down that I heard her say. So she said that one guy who I had never talked to at that point ever said that he walked into the girls' bathroom and saw me making, like, weird chants into the mirror, and then said that I started saying some, like, really dumb caveman crap. I don't even know how to, like, say that. I mean, I obviously told her off, but not in a mean way about that, and said it was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And then there was another one. She said she was walking down the stairwell and a bunch of 8th graders were talking, and she listened in on their conversation, and they were talking about someone named, oh, I don't even think I want to say that, but it's like if my last name could possibly demonetize me from life. And then she said that the 8th graders turned to her and asked if they knew me, and heard that her crush at the time broke up with me and that I was crying in the bathroom. But this was like a month into school and I hadn't dated anyone at all yet. So I don't understand where she got that from. And second, 8th graders don't have time to stand around in the stairwells, because nobody at my school stands in the stairwells, not even people that are skipping, which isn't that often, because there's cameras everywhere, but we won't talk about that right now. And then I was super mad because I was like, I wasn't in this school last year, how could we have dated? And then I was like, I forget the guy's name most of the time. And then, yeah, it was so dumb. And then I was like, remember, June 28th is Pride Day. Because, that year was the year that I came out, which I'm really proud of. And I don't care what anybody else thinks, because I don't really care. I mean, I respect that you have an opinion, but not necessarily your specific opinion. That is the tea. Okay, the next entry is about how I found out that Caitlin... Wait, no, not... What? No, that's the wrong... I've got my life mixed up. That's not even in my school. What am I talking about? How Skittles and Spaghetti, there we go, they're in my school, used to date, and I was like, oh, what? I don't understand. And then I was like, I'll be in, like, the middle, because I'm the third person in that little friend group, so, like, they'll be all lovey-dovey, and then I'll be in the middle, like, what is even going on? But that didn't happen, thankfully. An entirely different thing that probably didn't even need to happen happened. Oh, I've forgotten to mention, some of these I will have to skip over because I struggle with some kind of mental thing where I'll just switch personalities, but I haven't gotten diagnosed with anything yet, so I can't really for sure say I have DID, which is dissociative identity disorder. But that's, like, the closest thing I can say that I have, but I can't say for sure because I haven't gotten diagnosed. So a lot of these are going to be me just venting about it, because I literally had a point where I would have a lot of breakdowns, and I'm really glad that's over, and I would just think about it every second of every day. They would be everything. They would be on loop, and it would never stop, and it made this entire year a lot worse than it needed to be. Plus all the drama that didn't need to happen. So I wasn't very stable, I guess is what you could say. It really sucked. I don't even wish that upon my greatest enemy. I don't want anybody to go through what I did and am still going through, but not as bad anymore. And that's what I wanted to say for that few seconds. So this next entry was just me venting in this fantasy where I thought that all my daydreams actually happened in a different life of one of my extra personalities. I put quotes around those, but you can't see it. It gets kind of crazy sometimes, so I won't read any of those. I won't read this one either. I don't want to read that. I just don't want to relive that. The next one is about how the field trip we had, and so the first thing I talk about is the bus, which was like 2 hours and 2 hours back to school. And I was writing about how I called random numbers and a lot of them didn't pick up, and I was going to ask them if they wanted a free unicorn. They are still calling me back to this day. And this started on November 17th of 2018. It is getting extremely annoying. If you are watching this video and you keep calling me, just please stop calling me. It's really annoying. I mean, I love you, man, but it's really annoying. I'm going to skip all this because I want to get to the actual stuff that really sucked this year, which sounds really depressing, but that's the only really interesting part and the one thing I wanted to talk about in this video, so here we go. Be back in a second. I gotta find it. You know, it's buried under all this positive stuff that should be every day, but, you know, not. Okay, here we are. This is the day where I found out that Bubbles was actually sexually assaulted, and she had told me that she had another dad, and I was dumb enough to think that people couldn't have two dads, even though, like, I've had two dads. Oh, I was so dumb. And since I was skeptical about it, I kind of, and it kind of hit me in the chest because she said that, her biological dad, her stepdad was in the same war that my dad was in. Fun fact, you can find my dad on the internet if you look up Esau Gonzalez. I'll put it in, the description or something, because, he was a good dad for the time he was on this earth. Yeah. So I was talking about it with Skittles, and she just immediately cuts me off and says, "No, that's not true. That's not true." And so I broke down and started crying because that really hit home for me what she was talking about, and both things she was talking about, because I know somebody that's actually been sexually assaulted, and it doesn't sound pretty. So to think that somebody would lie about two really close things to me really hurt me. So I went to Bubbles' dad because I didn't know the school had a counselor. Wait, it's not that. It was because I thought her dad, who's the assistant principal, was the counselor, but he's not. So I was just in the office sobbing about that. And yeah, so we got put out of the office so he could talk to Bubbles alone, and then he does, and we come back, he calls us back in, and she tells us in front of her dad that she was adopted when she was 5, I think. I don't remember what age she said she was adopted. But yeah, I was like, "Oh, okay. All right, that clears that up." And then I didn't find out this day, but I found out probably recently that she actually was sexually assaulted, and I felt even worse for not believing her for that too. But you gotta be skeptical if you want to get to the bottom of things. Oh, this was the day that I broke up with my 6th grade boyfriend, Gremlin. And I think this was the only time, because in 6th grade we broke up a lot more than in 7th grade. So I was talking about how I sent this message. "So I've been thinking, we both go to different schools pretty far away, and I feel like I'm keeping you from the freedom of having crushes at your own school. I feel bad about it. Plus you need someone more stable and ready for a relationship, and someone who is able to hold it together while they hold themselves together. I can't do that right now. You can go find yourself someone that's nice and stable while I take care of myself. I hope she's special." And yeah, that was like all my feelings about that stuff. And then at the end I was like, hopefully I'm single now, because I don't want him to like react in a bad way, because I've had things happen to me. I'll talk about that right now, I guess. Okay, so when I was still in 6th grade, I was either my late year of 11 or early, just turned 12, maybe. And I used to go to this, after school, and I met this guy, and we were friends, and his name, I don't care if I use his name anymore. At the time he was 13, and I don't know his real name, but I called him DJ because everybody else called him DJ, and I never found out his real name. And at the end of the year, since I was moving schools, I kind of wanted his number, but he asked me first. And I said, yeah, because, we're friends and I want to stay in touch, because he was a pretty good friend while we were friends. So he asked me for my number, and I said, yeah, because, friends. So I gave him my number, and he gave me his, and everything was fine. We had random friendly text conversations until he told me he liked me, and I kind of was like, I don't like you, because he was a good friend, so I was like, I don't want to ruin that. And so I didn't respond to the kissy emojis he sent me, or do any of that stuff. And then things got worse. So we were having a normal conversation when he's like, hey, do you have a bikini? And I was like, yeah. I didn't know what he was talking about. And he was like, oh, good. Could you take a picture of you wearing it? And I didn't know what to do. So I just said no, because, I've always been I've always thought about how a decision would weigh out for me. I always think about that first. So I was like, no, because that will probably hurt me in the long run. So I said no. He had only known me for a year, and he already wanted to see my body, so I was really uncomfortable about that. And he was 13, so he was either like a year or 2 years older than me, which made me really uncomfortable. Then, to make things worse, he explained to me that his friends wanted him to ask me that, and for me to send one, because all of them had asked their girlfriends to do it, and they did, and they apparently started gaining trust in each other. But I said, these are my exact words, in all caps, I said, hell no. And I was really uncomfortable, because I was just writing down things, like, explaining why I wouldn't do that, and I'll go through that. I I said, 1, I am not his girl. 2, showing my body to him is just wrong. 3, F you. And 4, I am done with this crap. And 5, I am a child compared to him. And this thing kind of really makes me sick now that I read back on it. We were texting once because I still texted him because I was kind of dumb in that aspect. And he was describing about, how do I say that? He was telling me that he was, he was just giving me a one-on-one of how he had, I don't want to say this, that he was, okay, the nicest way I can say this is that he was erect while thinking about me in a bikini. And at that point, I knew bad stuff was going to happen, and he said he kept having visions about me and him together, and then I found out he's suicidal and has done this to 3 other girls, and then he wanted to pull, and I saw that if you go back together with Aiden, he would rape you, and I said, I was flabbergasted. Like, how can somebody be so insane? And that, on top of a whole bunch of other things, is why I have some kind of mental something that I was talking about earlier in this video. It all led up to that, and I knew he was creepy, so I blocked him, and I deleted his number, and he hasn't texted me since, and I haven't texted him since. And I wish I had told, the police or something, but it probably wouldn't have worked since we're children, but I still count that as sexual harassment, and I wish I would have done something more severe that would have made him as scared as he made me. The most I did was get Gremlin, my ex 6th grade boyfriend, to get in a group chat with me, him, and DJ, and we didn't get anything out of him. It was such a bad idea. We didn't get anything out of him, but to this day, I can't wear shorts in public because it's really uncomfortable for me, because I feel like everybody's looking at me just because of what he did, and I hope he sees this video someday and knows how uncomfortable he made me and how insecure he made me about my body now, because I think that everyone's looking at me the way he does, so I feel like I have to fix everything about me, even though I don't. So if this is happening to you, I hope you do the same thing as me, or something even more severe, like calling the police or something, because nobody has to go through that, and I now realize that is extremely wrong, and that if he did that when we were older, he could get into a lot of trouble over it. Yeah, that's the end of that story. Let's get back on track with, the whole 7th grade drama. Sorry for ranting. Alright, so let's get back to 7th grade. Okay, so back to this. He respected that, Gremlin respected that I didn't want to be with him anymore, and I was kind of celebrating that I was single, because, I could, branch out with my, me just finding that I was attracted to girls and boys, at a pretty young age, but I'm embracing it, so I don't, come out as a 40-year-old grandma or something. Oh, grandma, like a 60-year-old grandma, not ever branching out. So, yeah. And now I'm kind of glad that I do that. Yeah. Okay, so, this is what happened. Well, not the big thing, but this is a tiny thing that happened that kind of made me happy. Okay, Sarah and Candy got together on December 5th, 2018. It didn't last, but, they were pretty happy together. Oh my god. What just happened? My brother is, sobbing, and I have no idea what just happened. I'm going to leave that alone, because he does this every night, but, Okay, hold on. That was also the day that I found out that Skittles didn't like spaghetti, even though they were shipped pretty hard together, and the boat had sailed once in 6th grade, but I wasn't there because I was in a different school. And yeah, that was the day that I found out that Skittles didn't like spaghetti, and it made me a little sad because Spaghetti really liked Skittles a lot. She would like lean on her and nuzzle her, and she's kissed Skittles. She loved Skittles. And then I officially wrote down that I was, quote unquote gay for Skittles. But I also didn't want to hurt Spaghetti. And what I was trying to do was slowly just like take Hannah. Oh my God, those are people from my other school. Dear Lord. Oh my goodness, I'm so mixed up. I've been reading too much knowledge at once. Okay, I was trying to like make Spaghetti like somebody else so that her eventually finding out that Skittles didn't like her wouldn't really hurt her that much, because I know it sounds like I wanted Skittles all to myself, but I really didn't. I was thinking about Spaghetti the entire time. That probably sounds fake, but it's not. And yeah, I just wanted her to feel happy with, I wanted both parties to be happy. Also, I told my mom about me potentially having dissociative identity disorder, and she thought it was like something. Oh no, I don't know how to sharpen a pencil, Jojo. Excuse that. That was my little sister. And she said it was like something spiritual, so we were going to call Bethel, which is like the biggest community church in the world, and try to like talk about it, fix it, cast it out, quote unquote. And I was scared crapless. It never happened, but it probably scared it out of me, because after that day, maybe a week later, it wasn't as severe. I didn't really call them by their names anymore, so that was a good step up. Maybe I needed that scare, because that probably saved my life, because I was very, very suicidal, because I would just question my existence every day, and it would confuse me to Hades, and I was just having breakdowns every 5 seconds. So I kind of in some way thank my mom for scaring the crap out of me, and my mental stuff being less like severe is probably thanks to her scaring it out of me. And then on December 7th, I was freaking out because I got Skittles' number, because she didn't like give it to me because she liked me. It was because she was inviting people to her house, and Spaghetti and B-Cat Dog were coming over. Oh, also, geez, I don't have a name for that person. Okay, so I was going to be there along with Spaghetti, B-Cat Dog, and April. So it was actually really fun, but we're skipping over that, I guess, because we have to get to the good part. Well, actually, that day was pretty fun. We spit water all over Skittles' driveway. We were being crazy. We watched Lilo and Stitch together. We yelled memes. We screamed memes as we were quoting them, and just yelling, "No, Stefano," which was kind of like an inside joke. I never saw what made that joke, but I'll tell you what happened. Pull up a chair, I'll tell you. Okay, so, in that period, I think Skittles was in that period, and there was an ant and this girl like saw it, and somebody was gonna squish it, but she was like, no. So then she was going to bring it outside, and she dropped it, and Skittles just went, no, Stefano. And yeah, that's just like it. That's the inside joke. I could probably tell you a few more, and I could. Buckle up. Okay, Stoner Cloud. Let's start with Stoner Cloud. Stoner Cloud is great. If you follow me on TikTok, you have probably seen him once. I don't think I've drawn him in a while. I probably will for the next, like, speed paint. Stoner Cloud started at the maybe first quarter, like end of first quarter, and we were learning about weather, and we were learning about weather, and we were learning specifically about clouds that day. So somebody across the room was talking about how there's acid in rain, and then Spaghetti went, I think I was the one that went, there's acid and rain, and then Spaghetti was like, clouds do acid, and then I was like, Stoner Clouds. So that's how Stoner Cloud came to existence. I could probably tell you about Joey the Pencil Pouch. That one is great. I came up with that one, and I'm proud of it. It'll only take a few seconds to explain, and then you will probably click off this video, which is fine because it's cringy and it's a dirty joke. Here we go. Children, please close your ears. Parents, take the phone away from them. I don't want them to hear this. Okay, so I was just sitting in social studies next to Skittles, I think, and I just, out of nowhere, was looking at my pencil pouch, and I had already named him Joey for some reason, and I was like, Joey's a thought. He eats all the pencils for free. And so that's how that started, and we laughed about that for probably about maybe 10 minutes. We laughed for a while, that's what I remember. I really love that one. Stoner Cloud and Joey the Pencil Pouch. Oh, on TikTok, that one picture I did a long time ago, that one painting, Stoner Cloud and Joey the Pencil Pouch are in the same painting. So if you want to see that, please, my account will be down in the description, and you can go follow me, and you can go find it if you can. Please, I need followers desperately. I really do. Please, I beg of you. But anywho, during the time when I was at Skittles' house that same day, I took like a whole bunch of pictures of Spaghetti and Skittles playing around, and it was kind of cute, but I was like, no, I must not. Skittles does not like Spaghetti, and I cried a little inside, but I can't help that. I actually took a video of all of us spitting water all over the driveway, and I was going to post it on YouTube, but I never did, and I'm glad I didn't, because I looked back on it, and it was so ridiculous. We were trying to do a try not to laugh challenge, Smosh style, and then it turned into us just spitting water all over the place, and I got hit in the eye with a zipper, so that wasn't fun, but the rest of it was pretty fun. They had go-karts, so we did that for a while. Yeah, we watched at the end, near the end, where we were about to go home, I had decided to ride a scooter. I'm okay at that, but I'm terrified of just riding a scooter, and I can't ever stop when I'm on it. So we were going down a hill, and I was going really, really fast, so I decided to just, So I had just decided to jump off the scooter, and it was just in between my legs, and it was knocking between both of my ankles, and I felt this like weird pain in one of my ankles, even though both of them were hurting. And I was like, oh crap, what if I like broke my ankle? So I was like, guys, I think I broke my ankle. And somebody called Skittles' dad. He was really nice. He put me into the car. I hobbled over to the car on one foot, and I was starting to feel a little dizzy, but I was surviving. It was fine. And I just like laid down on their couch with an ice pack until my mom came and got me after all the gang was watching Dora and Sid the Science Kid and just like snuggling on the couch. So that was great. It was a really fun day. Oh, and I did not break my ankle. Just to clear that up, I did not break my ankle. I was fine, but it did really hurt. It felt weird. Yeah, I've always had like weird ankles. Whenever I'd run, my ankles would just be like, "Nope, you're going to die." So I would not be able to run, but I would still run because I like running from things. Depressing joke. Okay, I'm sorry. I probably sound so cringy, but Yeah, this is the next one is another like venting about, my personalities. And then at the end I just wrote they aren't real a bunch of times, and it looks like I was going crazy, but I'm still here and I'm mentally sane now, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that by myself. Yeah, anyway, the next one is about I was like, "Ooh, Skittles was totally flirting with me last night. She called me cute and she complimented me on multiple occasions, and she called me like bae 50 times. I am much liked by the Skittles." And I don't think she was actually flirting with me, but I had such a big crush that I probably thought she was. And uh yeah, I was planning to tell my mom that I was bi when I was in Florida for Christmas, so she wouldn't be able to kill me because I'm in a completely different state. And yeah, it also snowed that day. Oh, December 19th was a rough day for Spaghetti. She went into the bathroom before school started and she threw up like 3 times, and she said she might be having trouble with like, I think it's called like, I don't think this is what it's called, but it's something like glucomia. It has something to do with glucose, that's all I know. And her parents apparently wouldn't take her home because they said it was just her depression, and I was really mad at that because I thought that was completely unacceptable. I can't speak. Unacceptable. And now the next the next part is how I'm talking about how there was a new girl, and I'm going to call her Amy for privacy reasons. And she thought like that being a friend with Bubbles at that time, Bubbles wasn't very mature at that time. I might want to clear that up. She's a great person now. She's learned from her mistakes. She's a really good friend, but back then she wasn't very mature. I love her and everything, but she wasn't very mature back then. And she thought Amy at the time thought it would be a good friend to be with Bubbles. And I felt bad because I probably could have warned her earlier. And Amy told Bubbles that she had a crush on a boy, and Bubbles told Amy to write him a note and put it in his locker. And then everyone was freaking out and wondering who it was. So whenever somebody asked Bubbles who it was, she would just flat out say, "Oh, it was Amy." And I watched her do it, and I confronted her about it after she said it, and I saw it. And then I was like, why would you do that? She wanted that to be a secret. They're friends now, And yeah. Yeah. So then after that, I said something kind of harsh. I said, it's not that harsh, but I was like, I was like, you idiot. This is why I don't tell you any of my secrets. And she had the nerve to look at me like I had two noses, and then looked over at Skittles for support and got none. So that was a yay for me. Okay, I'm running out of time to record this, so I better go fast. I'm going to summarize this. Okay, so on December 21st, it was day of like track out, and I was really upset because Spaghetti decided to kiss Skittles on the cheek before she would go to the bus, and then she would leave, and she did it, and I felt so bad because I knew that Skittles didn't like her, but I didn't do anything. So I decided to do something. It kind of hurt our friendship for a while, but we're okay now, I think. I don't think she holds it against me anymore. One day, Skittles asked me if I thought she should tell wow, I can't speak. I am so tired. After like maybe another month of this going on, Skittles decided to ask me if she should tell Spaghetti that she didn't like her, and that what Spaghetti was doing was making her really uncomfortable. And I said sure, and I should have read through the message that she sent to Spaghetti. Because after I read it, after she had sent it to Spaghetti, I realized that it was harsh, but I'm proud of her for getting that message across and telling her how she felt. It was basically just telling her that it was basically just telling Spaghetti that what she did had made her really uncomfortable, and that it was basically assault. Well, not like assault, but like sexual assault or harassment. I can't use these words correctly. I just can't speak the English language. And a bunch of talking to her about a whole bunch of other things that happened in 6th grade and stuff like that. And I hadn't realized that she felt that way towards I hadn't realized that Skittles felt that way towards Spaghetti, and Spaghetti hasn't been handling it well since. She's been really sad, and she's been hung on the fact that Skittles said that she would never leave her, and she's just been so sad since, and her self-esteem has gone down the drain. But I completely understand why Caitlin said that. I keep using the wrong names. That's somebody from my old school. I'm sorry, but there's like something that happened last year with the people that I'm mixing up names with. That was similar to what happened this year, but it wasn't as severe. So if you catch me slipping up, I used the wrong name from somebody from 6th grade. And she has just been really hung up on that. And I'm pretty hurt by the fact that I probably could have stopped that from happening, but I did it with the best intentions. And I am really sorry if I hurt you, Spaghetti. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that you're still really sad about that. And yeah, but okay, new tea between Spaghetti and Bubbles. Okay, so it all started when Bubbles told me that Hannah, oh my god, I keep using the wrong freaking names. I'm so dumb. It all started when Bubbles said that Spaghetti had talked about pretty lewd stuff around her that I won't care to mention in any way. And then I watched Spaghetti in the locker room say to Bubbles that she had really nice abs and like saying kind of like uncomfortable things towards her, and I was kind of disgusted, but not as disgusted as Bubbles must have been. So I think we told the counselor about that because Bubbles' dad, the assistant principal for 7th grade, talked about it in front of the entire 7th grade about being appropriate in locker rooms, and Spaghetti has since apologized for that, and she's gotten better about it. But if this next thing I'm about to tell you is true, I don't think I could ever be friends with her again because I don't want to be next. So here we go. Okay, so Bubbles. Wait, okay. Alright. If somebody gets in trouble for this, I'm sorry, but I want to get this out because I don't really care if this actually happened. It is harassment, and I don't want it to happen to anybody else. And if it's true, it might happen to me soon, and I'll tell you why after I tell you this part. Bubbles told me the other day that Spaghetti was talking to her about hickeys again, as girls do together. And then Spaghetti made a remark about how Italian people get hickeys more easily, and that must have been really uncomfortable because both Spaghetti and Bubbles are, partly Italian. Bubbles looks really Italian, so that must have been really, really uncomfortable for her. And then she said that Spaghetti leaned in and said, "You're going to hate me for this," and kissed Bubbles on the cheek without, consent or anything. And I just think that is completely unacceptable, and she shouldn't do that to people, because in 6th grade I heard that she had done things like that to Skittles, and I hope to the Lord that this all is just not true. What, Jojo? You don't have to be scared for being under the bed. It's okay. Why were you under the bed? For a pen? Do not use that pen. Anywho, I might have made a mistake in my words about, not a while ago, recently telling Spaghetti that, okay, so I tried to tell Spaghetti that I used to, have a crush on her, and I think I looked back on it and I worded it really wrong, so it made it sound like I, still, bless you, that I still had a crush on her, so I don't know how to tell her that I don't, and I feel really bad. And she's been giving me these, really weird, coming up behind you, giving you a hug, around the waist things, nuzzling me, telling me I smell like some kind of, pasta? I can't remember what it was. It's kind of made me uncomfortable, but she's been really thoughtful about it and asking me every time if I've been uncomfortable, and I just keep saying no because I don't want it to be more awkward than it already is, but I don't know how to tell her that it actually makes me uncomfortable, because it's gone on for a while, and I don't want it to be, really uncomfortable between us, but I'm kind of scared of the same thing that happened to Bubbles happening to me, because I think if it's all true, which I hope it isn't, but I think it might be, it might happen to me, likely, because, it's been pretty scary. I found out about that, maybe a few days ago. It's really scary. I don't want anybody to live in fear like I am right now. I mean, it's not that scary, but, it's scary in a sense that I don't want to be violated again, physically, like a physical version of what DJ did. I don't want that to happen. So, yeah, it's been really sad between, Skittles and Spaghetti for a while. After that happened, they did not talk at all. And I finally got them to talk to each other, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And now they've gotten to acquaintance status. They talk to each other every once in a while, but only if they're all in a conversation together. I think the entire thing that Bubbles told me and also told Skittles has kind of maybe pushed them apart more, because I haven't seen Skittles, talk to her in a minute. It might, I really hope it isn't true. Yeah. And with me and my 6th grade ex, Gremlin, there's been some stuff. I've caught him, flirting with me, and I don't really appreciate it, because I don't want to be together with him after him asking for, nudes after we've broken up. And I've told him about DJ, and he was in the situation telling him to back off, and he was making me feel the same that DJ did, and I didn't want to feel like that, so that's why we broke up, like, a long time ago. And I've caught him flirting, and he's asked me for nudes maybe twice, and it's not fun. So I finally told him the other night that if he's gonna do it, I'm just gonna block him, because I don't appreciate being flirted with by somebody who isn't mature enough to be in an actual, relationship. I mean, I know that sounds way too mature for somebody my age, but and it probably sounds super stupid, but I don't want to be in a situation like that. I don't want to be reminded of DJ every single time that we text each other and he asks for pictures. Again, hi Gremlin, if you're watching this, that's how I feel. I don't appreciate how you talk sometimes. The subtle flirts. They're not cute. They're awkward and uncomfortable, and that's how I feel. Yeah. That's about all I have to say. You've got about 4 more minutes of this video, or you can just talk about this stuff with your friends, I guess. Enjoy the rest of the video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really glad I finally got to get this out. I'm proud of myself for getting it out. I love you all. Read the description. I guess if I put anything in the description. I hope you're all having a great rest of your days, and I hope you mash that like button and write a comment. You can ask questions, I'll answer them. I'll answer anything, I don't really care. You guys are great. Bye.